Hello, and welcome back to Wild Thoughts with your host, The Big Bang. And hello, Wild Thought listeners. Today is another great day to see what direction your life could accomplish. I know it takes a lot of self-competition to get up and do what takes you over an hour to do. In this listening status, we power on the self-control. And with the self-control, we go over whether or not, if you feel you are wasting even a minute of your short existence. If you should quit the job that is paying your bills and go toward the path that makes you happy. The ever after is produced by the conscious membrane. Stay in the presence of an overflow of knowledge and capture what you can, or let the drip come over you and wash your stream of life. Just whatever we do, whatever we decide, do not become a stagnant pool that breeds bacteria, a bacteria that will kill your progress. You are lucky enough to be born on this wild planet, lucky enough to listen to this knowledge drip. So do not let more opportunities pass you. The passing of an opportunity. It is time to take over your existence in life and think. Let's dive deep. Let's ponder. Let's dig our shallow graves. This is Wild Thoughts with your host, The Big Bang. And guys, welcome back once again to another great knowledge drip. Today has been a very successful day for us. I mean, this whole week really has been very successful for the knowledge drip. I got an email from the Podbean and it says, congratulations to Wild Thoughts with the Big Bang. You have done a huge fortune in your knowledge drip. We just wanted to thank you and hope you continue on its way to the number one podcast and the perfection that is Wild Thoughts with the Big Bang. Yep, guys, straight from Podbean themselves, the people that host the knowledge drip that we produce here. Now, with that being said, a lot of people have been writing into the show. You know how to write into the show. We've gone over it many times, so I'm not going to say how you can write in. You have to go back and figure it out. And a lot of people really enjoyed why did I say people? You know what I'm trying to say. The human becomings, the leaders, the 5% of the world are really starting to enjoy this knowledge drip based out of pure consciousness and pure whatever. And, you know, some people really enjoyed last time what we talked about, the six specters, the six fears of life, the fear of poverty, the fear of death, the fear of ill health, the fear of the loss of a loved one, the fear of old age, and the fear of criticism. And a lot of you wanted me to dive a little bit deeper into that and go over those. So today, that's what this knowledge drip is going to be on. We're going to go over more. Let me turn this down. We're going to go over some more things that, are the fear, and we're going to go over them in a little more depth during this episode. Okay, so we'll go over that. Then we'll probably go over self-confidence. I don't know, I really enjoy the self-confidence formula because I've read this book, The Law of Success, and The Law of Complete Success in 16 lessons. Now I've read it twice, and now I am on the third time, and I'm just barely starting to be able to understand it and know what I'm even freaking reading. It's going to take me a few more times, I'm guessing, to completely understand this. But I know that the most important part of being successful, the most important part of being successful and being able to understand our knowledge drip and how we produce things and how we move forward is not just doing it once in a while, but it's persistently doing it. It's effectively doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be my hobby. I got to continue doing it over and over and over again. And it's real simple to get up here and speak for 35 minutes into a microphone. And if you don't believe me, you should try it out, man. Try it out. Go ahead, send in your notes if you want to. Okay, now on to the next part of this podcast before we jump into the 6 main fears that eludes people of trying things in their life. We got to go over something that's been pretty cool to me, and that is the motherfucking affirmations, guys. I enjoy, I'm enthusiastic, and I have a lot of great feelings towards the affirmations that we have been putting out there, and the response from the affirmations has been growing indubitably. That's a big word. I don't even know why I just said that, but I enjoyed it. We've been, pushing through the psychology of life and the psychologies of I am, and talking positively about ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Talking positively about ourselves before our death, talking positively about ourselves before other people's deaths, talking positively about all the seeds that we have planted out there. Because, just like all the other seeds out there, you can take care of your seeds, whether your seeds are going to grow into be apple trees, pear trees, banana trees, what other type of trees do they got? Peach trees. Maybe it's a vine of grapes, or maybe it's just a vine of cotton, because cotton's really good. Cotton's what they make money on. Cotton's what money is made on. So maybe it's a field of cotton that your seeds produce. You never know. Just remember that your seeds are very important to your life. They're very important to everything that we can possibly do. You got to nurture your seed. You got to take care of your seed. We got to keep affirming to ourselves. I know I like the word affirming, but maybe I like the word affirmations. I don't know. Maybe it's that afro that really throws me through a loop, but maybe it's not at the same time. Who fucking knows? Nobody really knows what's going on in this world. We just, nobody really knows how to do anything. Now, the more that I look at it, people don't really know. And the older I get and the more I see people and realize and talk to people, that really nobody knows what the fuck is going on. They just are pretty much faking it till they make it. And one of the good things that you can do right now, if you want, is get up, and if somebody is saying something that you don't like, you can call fucking bullshit on it. You can call bullshit on me. You can call bullshit on anybody you want. You know why? Because nobody knows shit. I mean, you could read books, you can study the law of compensation, you can study the law of abundance, you can study the law of taking care of your seeds, and all the other 16 laws and everything else out there for complete success. But really, you got to do a lot of different little tiny things that not every portion of the book is going to cover. And you know why? Because books and other things that you're reading on, they're going to be a little different. Their energy is going to be wavelength is going to be a little bit different from the one that you are used to. Maybe your energy is not all the way up. Maybe your enthusiasm isn't all the way up. Maybe you have a lot of the fears that we're going to go over today. Maybe you have some of those fears that we're going to jump on over today. And, but before we do that, I just want to do one more motherfucking... Before we go over that, matter of fact, I don't even know what I was talking about. I could go back and listen to it, but you guys know I don't listen to it, rewind it. I don't do second takes. I don't do miss-ups. I don't give a shit what the fuck it sounds like. You know what I'm saying? If it sounds terrible, guess what? I'm going to post it. You know why? Because this life is a journey, and you can't repost your life. You can't redo pictures. You can't redo your voice. You can't redo what you say. Once you say something, it's there forever. And it's affirmations that you put into your own success of life that will make you control your being of time, and how you master your mind when you eat things that are alive. So let's jump into some great affirmations of today, and then let's pour on the 6 dangerous enemies that are fucking killing a lot of people. And then after we go through those dangerous enemies, I want to go over the law of procrastination. I know we have done the law of procrastination before, so I want to go over that again, just to, help people out with that. So with that being said, you know what? Change of plans. I've decided, instead of going over the affirmations right now, what I want to do is go over the self-confidence creed. The self-confidence creed is a little bit different than the self-confidence formula. So we're going to go over that, and then we will go over some affirmations, and then we'll jump into the dangerous enemies of our lives, the dangerous enemies that pull us down. So before we start the self-confidence creed, you know what I like to do before we jump into it? I like to stay relaxed. I like to stay calm during this. So take a deep breath. Relax your nose into your eyeballs and breathe through your nose and out your butthole. Maybe a little fart, whatever you got to do to relax your body completely. And then relax your ears and prepare your ears for an intense melting of explosion and fevery love towards the self-confidence creed that is yourself. I mean, this self-confidence creed is going to be meant for all of the leaders of this great world. And if you have a better self-confidence creed and you are like, hey, I got a better self-confidence creed than that, well then guess what? Right into the motherfucking show with your relaxed ass, right into the show, and tell me you got it and tell me you want to read it. But you know how much that costs you? It's going to cost you $1.66 a week. Or, you can sign up for the $7 one a week. It's something like that. You can either sign up for either one. But, whatever you decide or whatever you have thought that this knowledge drip is worth to your tiny little ego, you know what I'm saying? Or if you don't have the money for it, just donate $1.66 a week. Alright, we're relaxed now. We talked about money. We talked about what else do we fucking talk about so far in this podcast? I don't know. I've had 2 phone calls during this podcast. Why do I keep calling it that? It's because I don't know why. Because I listen to a lot of other podcasts, like I really do, and they always are talking about podcasts, and I forget to say that this is a knowledge drip. You know what I'm saying? You hear that stuff, you hear podcasts over and over again, and then you start calling it a podcast when really we all know, all the listeners know of the drip, the knowledge drip that is Wild Thoughts with a Big Bang, and how greatly we are growing. So with that being said, now 13 minutes is coming up. I hope you're still relaxed, or if you're driving a car, don't close your eyes, keep them open, but stay chill. And we're going to get into the self-confidence creed, and then we're going to get into some affirmations. All right, here we go. Self-confidence creed. I believe in myself. I believe in those who work with me. I believe in my employer. I believe in my friends. I believe in my family. I believe that God will lend me everything I need with which to succeed if I do my best to earn it through faithful and honest service. I believe in prayer, and I will never close my eyes and sleep without praying for divine guidance, to the end that I will be patient with other people and tolerant with those who do not believe as I do. I believe that success is the result of intelligent effort and does not depend on luck or sharp practices or double-crossing friends, fellow men, or my employer. I believe I will get out of my life exactly what I put into it. Therefore, I will be careful to conduct myself towards others as I would want them to act toward me. I will not slander those whom I do not like. I will not slight my work no matter what I may see others doing. I will render the best service of which I am capable, because I have pledged myself to succeed in life, and I know that success is always the result of conscientious and efficient effort. Finally, I will forgive those who offend me, because I realize that I shall sometimes offend others, and I will need their forgiveness. So if you want that back right there. I think we start around the 13-minute mark, 13 minutes to about 14:45. You can go back and you can get that whole self-confidence creed for yourself. You can screenshot it, record it, do whatever you got, tell yourself it, write it down. I hope you guys have your notes. I mean, it's really, the self-confidence creed is really good. I mean, you just got to say that right there. I believe in myself. I believe in those who work with me. I believe in, in my employer if you have one, okay? Or if you're your boss, you believe in yourself. If you're the leader, okay? Because we're growing leaders. We're growing part of the 5% here. We're not 95%. We don't conform. Because you know what happens when we conform? We conform and we be poor. I would rather be poor and not conform, be poor and live the life I want than have someone pay me a little bit of money for hours and hours of my time when I could be spending time doing stuff that I enjoy. Because eventually your hobbies and your whatever else you want to call it, I don't know, hobbies is a good word for it. Your hobbies, your enjoyments in life, your things that get you pleasures, the things that get your hard dick rock hard, or your pussy wet, whatever it is, you're going to, if you continue doing that, you're going to eventually start making money off of it. And besides, working a normal 9-to-5 job, working for somebody else is sometimes very necessary in life. For example, when I worked at the zoo for a little bit, it was very necessary for me at that time in my life to work there. But since I have, I have not worked there now for like 3 weeks, so it's been good. And, I'm just moving on with my life, because thanks to all the freaking great listeners. I mean, I really can't thank all the listeners, all the leaders, all the affirmations, and all the leaders, really, the true leaders, the people that are powerful in this world, the leaders of the future have really been enjoying what I have had to say. And, thanks to them, I was able to, now supplement my $9 an hour job at the goddamn motherfucking zoo for this beautiful knowledge drip that is Wild Thoughts. So, I just want to say thank you guys. Like, I am thankful for the few that have been here since the beginning. I am thankful for the few that have listened to Wild Thoughts, and the few that have jumped in and said that they were excited and they enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? Because without them, we wouldn't have continued to do this knowledge drip. But because they did, because of all the great stuff that we were able to pour into their hearts and pour into their minds, we were... And it's been good, because you guys see there's a little button right on that screen. It says reward, and a lot of people have been pressing it. And thank you. I am grateful for everything, and I'm going to continue to do this for a while. And for a while, we are going to stick with the confidence formula. We're going to stick with the confidence creed, and we're going to stick with the first laws of success, which is, the first law of success is the law of the mastermind. Okay, so that's what we're sticking with right now, at least for a while, until everybody fully understands it, mostly until I can completely and truly understand the first law of success, which is the law of the mastermind, the law of the people getting together with somebody and thinking and going over that type of stuff. That's what the law of law of the mastermind is, really. It's just having other people that you work with so that you grow your thing. Because you need a mastermind, you need ideas, you need thoughts, you need plans, you need actions, you need desire, you need power, you need energy, and you need ethernet, and you need energy waves of all sorts of types of different ways. Because like Henry Ford says, I might not be able to answer every single stupid question that everyone has, but damn it, we can find somebody that does. And that's what we're doing right now. So we're going to stick to the first lesson. I know. Okay, it's going to be a long time of this, just because we're teaching success, and success is not an overnight thing. It's not hey, I want to be a millionaire so freaking bad, and then the next day you're a millionaire. It's not like that. It's persistence, continuous, and efficient effort towards your goals and your goals and what's that word I'm fucking looking for? Come on, I know it. Definite chief aim. There it is. I told you I fucking knew it. So, with that being said, we're going to jump into some affirmations now, and then we're going to, of course, go over the 6 main dangerous enemies, which is in the first lesson of the law of success, the mastermind. And it's just, it's just a little fun to go over the fears of what you have. Just because once you do that, you'll realize that your life is pretty fucking simple once you can get over these fears, but those fears aren't going to take overnight, just like you're not going to be rich overnight. And you got to understand the laws of the fears in order to, truly move past them. And some of us don't know what they are. So that's why we go over them, and that's why we go over them, and that's why we go over them, so that we understand what is going on in this beautiful mastery of our world. All right, now let's get into our affirmations, and then we will jump into the 6 fears, and then we'll call it a motherfucking day, bitches. All right, here we go. I can and will find a way. I am self-confident. I am the master of my fate. I am in control of myself. I am strong-minded and creative. I am a person with a pleasing personality. Sometimes I forget to breathe, because I get so amped up when I'm doing this. I get so amped up and I go, oh yeah, I fucking love this shit. I really do. Fucking love this. And then I forget to breathe. And then sometimes I burp. So here we go. Let's just keep going. I am a great leader. I am rich. I am successful. I am wealthy. I do have money flowing into my pockets. I do have money flowing out of my pockets to stimulate the economy. I am happy. I am grateful. I am grateful for everything that I yet to have. I am passionate about my work. I am likable to people. I am able to think positive. I am able to keep appointments. I am able to persuade and talk. I am an agreeable person. I am in shape. I am fit and healthy. I am confident. I am readily available for any opportunities to come my way. I am self-reliant. I am a great speaker. I am good at retaining knowledge. I am able to eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, and cynicism. I do have the greatest mind that I can give myself. I do have a bank account that supports my definite chief aim in life. I do have the mental ability to get what I need. I will never hurt. I will never worry. I will never put myself down for not having enough. I will always and truly be grateful for what I have. I am aware of my surroundings. I am the power. I am for the change. I am for the massive movement. I am alive with the has and has-beens. I am a far about. I am alive. I am a manifestation of myself. I am thankful. I am the Almighty. I live for the moment. I am the fighter. I am far from over. I am the kind of person that I want to be. I am the follower. I am the pasture of my life. I am how the life I want. I am the massive. I am how a life. I think of all passive. I prove the life I need. I am power. This is Wild Thoughts. Alright, now let's jump in right now. Let's do this shit. We've done enough breathing exercise. We're relaxed enough. Yeah. I guess, I really do like to start things at like a certain time. So all of this knowledge drip is very very calculated. You might think that I'm just fucking bullshitting around here and like going through, but everything I do, I very meticulously am calculating and planning out. I mean, I have a notebook of times of when I want to start stuff. So at the 25-minute mark, we're starting this. So relax. The 6 specters are labeled fear of poverty, fear of death, fear of ill health, and the fear of loss of loved one, fear of old age, and the fear of criticism. Every person on earth is afraid of something. Most fears are inherited in this essay. You may study the 6 basic fears which do the most damage. Your fears must be mastered before you can win in any worthwhile undertaking in life. Find out how many of the 6 fears are bothering you, but more important than this, determine also how to conquer these fears. These enemies are not beautiful, alright? As you read about these ugly characters, analyze yourself and find out which of them does you the most damage. Every human being on this earth is bound down to some extent by one or more of these unseen fears. The first step to be taken in killing of these enemies is to find out where and how you acquired them. They got their grip upon you through 2 forms of heredity. One is known as physical heredity, to which Darwin devoted so much study. The other is known as social heredity, through which the fears, superstitions, and beliefs of men who lived during the Dark Ages have been passed on from one generation to another. Let us study first the first part that physical heredity has played in creating these 6 basic fears. Starting at the beginning, we find that nature has been a cruel builder. From the lowest form of life to the highest nature has permitted the stronger to prey upon the weaker forms of animal life. The fish prey upon the worms and insects, eating them boldly. Birds prey upon the fish. Higher forms of animal life prey upon the birds and upon one another, all the way up the line to man. And man preys upon all other lower forms of animal life and upon men. The whole story of evolution is one unbroken chain of evidence of cruelty and destruction of the weaker by the stronger. No wonder the weaker forms of animals' lives have learned to fear the stronger. The fear consciousness is born in every living animal. So much for the fear of instinct that came to us through physical heredity. Now, let us examine the social heredity and find out what part it has played in our makeup. The term social heredity has reference to everything that we are taught, everything we learn or gather from observations and experience with other living beings. Lay aside any prejudice and fixed opinions you may have formed, at least temporarily, and you may know the truth about your 6 worst enemies, starting with the fear of poverty. It requires courage to tell the truth about the history of this enemy of mankind, and still greater courage to hear the truth after it has been told. The fear of poverty grows out of man's habits of preying upon his fellow men economically. The animals which have instinct but no power to think prey upon another physically. Man, with his superior sense of intuition and his more powerful weapon of thought, does not eat his fellow man boldly. He gets more pleasure from eating him financially. So great an offender is a man in this respect that nearly every state and nation has been obliged to pass laws, scores of laws, to protect the weak from the strong. Every blue sky law is indisputable evidence of man's nature to prey upon his weaker brother economically. The second of the 6 basic fears with which man is bound down is the fear of old age. The fear grows out of 2 major causes. First, the thought that old age may bring with it poverty. Secondly, form false and cruel secondary teachings, which have been so well mixed with fire and brimstone, that every human being learned to fear old age, because it meant the approach of another and perhaps a more horrible world than this. The third of the 6 basic fears is the fear of ill health. This fear is born of both physical and social heredity. From birth until death, there is eternal warfare within every physical body, warfare between groups of cells, one group being known as the friendly builders of the body and the others as the destroyers, or disease germs. The seed of fear is born in the physical body, to begin with as the result of nature's cruel plan of permitting the stronger forms of cell life to prey upon the weaker. Social heredity has played its part through lack of cleanliness and knowledge of sanitation. Also, through the law of suggestion, cleverly manipulated by those who profited by ill health. The fourth of the 6 basic fear is the fear of loss of love of someone. This fear fills the asylums with the insanely jealous, for jealousy is nothing but a form of insanity. It also fills the divorce courts and causes murders and other form of cruel punishment. It is a holdover, handed down through social heredity, from the Stone Age when man preyed upon his fellow man by stealing his mate by physical force. The method, but not the practice, has now changed to some extent. Instead of physical force, man now steals his fellow man's mate with pretty colorful ribbons and fast motor cars and bootleg whiskey and sparkling rocks and stately mansions. Man is improving. He now entices where he once drove. The fifth of the 6 basic fear is the fear of criticism. Just how and where man got this fear is difficult to determine, but it is certain that he has it. But for this fear, man would not become bald-headed. Bald heads come from tightly fitting headbands, which cut off the circulation from the roots of the hair. Women seldomly are bald because they wear those loose-fitting hats, but for the fear of criticism, man would lay aside his hat and keep his hair. The makers of clothing have not been slow to capitalize this basic fear of mankind. Every season the styles change, because the clothes makers know that few people have the courage to wear the garment that is one season out of step with what they are all wearing. If you doubt this, start down the street with last year's narrow-brimmed hat on when this year's style calls for the broad brim. Or, you ladies, take a walk down the street on Easter morning with the last year's hat. Observe how uncomfortable you are, thanks to your unseen enemy, the fear of criticism. The 6th and last of the 6 basic fears is the most dreaded of them all. It is called the fear of death. For tens of thousands of years, man has been asking the still unanswered question, whence and whither. The more crafty of the race have not been slow to offer the answers to this eternal question. Where did I come from, and where am I going after death? Come into my tent, says one leader, and you may go to heaven after death. Heaven was then pictured as a wonderful city, whose streets were lined with gold and studded with precious stones. Remain out of my tent, and you may go straight to hell. Hell was then pictured as a blazing furnace where the poor victims might have the misery of burning forever in brimstone. No wonder mankind fears death. Alright guys, so that is all of the 6 basic fears right there. I'm going to go over them one more time for you. The 6 basic fears are the fear of poverty, the fear of death, the fear of ill health, the fear of the loss of a loved one, the fear of old age, and the fear of criticism. Now before we go, we got one more thing for you today, and then we're going to call it a day. Alright? And it's a nice little poem. We're going to start around 35 minutes, so go ahead and see what you think about that, about all the fears, and then we're going to go over this last thing, and then we're going to call it a day. So we'll start at 35 minutes, and then we'll finish probably around 36-30, and we'll call it a good day. Just breathe, guys. Oh, that was some good stuff right there. Let's stretch out your neck a little bit. If you're driving, maybe do whatever. If you're sitting down, stand up, do a push-up, do a squat, do something. Get your body moving. Get your bones going. For here is the last part of today's podcast, Knowledge Drip. Man is of soul and body, formed for deeds, of high resolve on fancy boldest wings, to soar unwearied, fearlessly to turn the keenest pangs to peacefulness and taste, the joys which mingled sense and spirit yield. Or he is formed for abjectness and woe, to grovel on the dunghill of his fears, to shrink at every sound, to quench the flame of natural love and sensualism, to know the hour as blessed when on his worthless days the frozen hand of death shall set its seal, yet fear the cure through the hating disease. The one is man that shall hereafter be, the other man a vice has made him now. Shelley. One of the most destructive evils is slanderous talks. It breaks the human's hearts and ruins reputations with a ruthlessness unknown in connection with other evils. Well, guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's knowledge drip. We're going to be taking off. I said I was going to do one on Friday. It's Thursday today. So, you guys, guess what? You get another one tomorrow, and it will be another great one. So, till next time, this has been Wild Thoughts with your host, The Big Bang. Bye.